Hell yeah. All right. Anyway.
Well, guys, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
Salud.
Salute.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Well, welcome.
Official, we started already.
Yeah, dude, screw it. Welcome back to Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. I'm Mike Witzak.
I'm Rory Farrell.
And who we got in the middle today, baby?
We got South Philly Vinny, a.k.a. Vinny Fracassi.
In the house.
All right. Vinny of Keller Williams of the Rich Castle team.
Yep, my Philly Castle, Keller Williams Empower, used to be Keller Williams Philly, and then that changed in December 2023.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, thank you for. And we're in your office. We're in Baden, so thank you for having us.
Yeah,
we're gonna go
got it.
round robin with your team. We've got a couple people coming up, so the next couple of weeks we're gonna be kind of featuring all of you guys. So thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, I mean, we just kind of touched on this like 2 seconds ago, but we got the South Philly Vinny in the house, but you're not from South Philly. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Niagara Falls, New York.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've never been to Niagara Falls, but I got to go, apparently.
Yeah, it's a great little town right across the border from Niagara Falls, Ontario. So grew up going to Canada a lot. I lived in Niagara Falls till I was 19, and then I went to school. And then after school, I moved to South Jersey. I lived in South Jersey for 5 years, and then in 2010, I moved to Chicago. And I lived
Maybe
in
that's what I'm hearing. A little Chicago
Yeah,
too, like a mix with the
my
New York?
wife had because I met my wife in Chicago, and then we moved here.
All right.
She still has that Chicago. I could see
Okay.
hear
Yeah.
certain words that she says. So I lived in Chicago for 7 years. I was there from 2010 to 2017, and then we moved here in 17, and was able to continue working my job, from Philly, but working for the company in Chicago. And then the pandemic hit, and so I'll back up a second. So right before the pandemic hit, my wife and I both went to real estate school and studied and took the test together.
Oh, wow.
So we did it together, which was super cool. Built-in study buddy, and we got our licenses. We passed our test February of 2020, late February of 2020.
Jesus.
And to celebrate, we went to Mexico. And just kicked it in Mexico, and then when we got back from Mexico, the world's literally never been the same.
You're lucky you got back from Mexico.
for real.
That's
For real.
crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez. Damn.
Yeah, it's insane.
I have a very similar story. I took my classes for real estate in December of 2019
Really?
into January of 2020. And then me and a good friend of mine were like, oh, we're going to take the real estate test after, we'll take it in March or April. We'll study, prepare or whatnot. I think we were still in college. We were just fucking around taking the course. And then we were signing up to take the exam, and we're like, why can't we sign up for anything? We're like, oh yeah, everything is shut down for ever. We thought at that point in time. It was crazy. Everybody got sent home from college. We were all in Penn State. It was
wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good times.
So you bounced around a lot. So where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to college?
I went to in New York State, they do the SUNY program, State Universities of New York.
Sure.
So I did SUNY Fredonia.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's right outside of Erie, Pennsylvania.
All right. Oh, so you're way up there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yep.
And then just work-wise, bounced around to South Jersey, Chicago.
Yeah. So after school, I got a job with an environmental remediation company, and the nature of their work is, they travel across the country and do cleanup work for, different corporations. But there was a job in Vineland, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And so I was working in Vineland, New Jersey on a government job. Actually, it was funded by the government. It was a really big cleanup job there. So I was there for 5 years. So during that 5 years, 2005 to 2010, I was coming to Philly a lot, because it was right there.
You're right there, yeah.
So
My cousin lives in Vineland. It's close.
Oh yeah, it's super close. So I would come to Philly, go to the restaurants. I'm a big music guy, and anybody that tours comes to Philly, so I would go to shows and go to the sporting events.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I got familiar with it, and then I had the opportunity to move to Chicago in 2010. I did that, and then while I was there, I was actually in the music business. I managed a band for a little while.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my buddy in Chicago and I were managing a band who was actually located in Buffalo. And so we did that, and I was still doing environmental cleanup work out there as well. And then I ended up getting a job with a property management company. And after the property management company, I ended up getting a job with a digital marketing company. And digital marketing company is the last corporate W-9 gig that I've had. I've been a realtor since 2020.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can probably pull from a lot of those different. I mean, we've had musicians and band managers on this podcast who are now realtors as well, and digital marketing, and it all kind of you learn skills from each one of those little things. Even the corporate stuff. It's how do I be buttoned up with certain clients? And
yeah, I mean, none of this is for me to try to toot my own horn, but I remember when I became a realtor, it's like I know how to write an email. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you know how to like structure like a good email, and like that's silly to say, but like
No, it's the truth though, because when I came into this business, I didn't college doesn't really sit you down and go like, hey, here's how you write a proper email. Like I didn't have a class. I had a class on building a resume. That was it.
Yeah.
So when I first started with our company, I came in right out of college. So I started doing it. I'm like, how do you do all the like simple things you wouldn't realize are so
Real-world stuff.
important? Like real world stuff. Yeah. Like how to,
Exactly.
phrase yourself and not write it like a total bro, just to write a good email like a
Right.
corporate person.
He would come to me and be like, "Can you read this?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's tweak this a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's work on this a little bit."
And nowadays, all you got to do is just type it in ChatGPT. Be like, I want
Yeah.
it to sound a little more professional.
There you
and
go.
it'll
That's
spit it
him.
right
He
back
knows
out you.
all that stuff.
You just
It's
gotta
crazy.
you gotta like train it to get it to where you want it.
Yeah,
to be.
I just had I'm like part of this group. We had a meeting last Wednesday with a guy that's a professional YouTuber. And like, obviously we do a lot of social media and YouTube and stuff. And I've been doing YouTube for years. So one of the things I took away from him is he's like, make this Excel spreadsheet, do all these video ideas. So I made this whole list of all these video ideas I have planned for the next like year. And I went into ChatGPT and I was like, write me a script for this video and like give me key talking points and all this stuff on everything that I want to talk about. And I just pointed out all the things and it wrote me an entire script in like 2 seconds.
Easy.
Yeah, it's
Done.
crazy.
It's crazy.
And it was good too. It wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
no,
Like, it
for
was
sure.
good.
And if it wasn't good, all you got to do is be like, make this better, do it this way. Like you have to like
Yeah.
train it.
It's
And
crazy.
It's so wild. And like, I just keep thinking like, in 5 years, where's this
What-
gonna be?
Oh yeah.
in 1 year, really. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
how quickly
yeah,
they
it's just
update
acceler-
those
yeah, it's
versions
just
of it.
accelerating so
I mean,
quick.
it was. I mean, this is silly, but early on of ChatGPT, he's like, "Hey, make us a Marathon Mortgage commercial, 30 seconds. Write us a script," and we ended up filming it and put it up, and like it got a bunch of views, and people were like, but it was just silly, It's
Yeah.
like, and now I mean, you can legitimately use it.
That's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love
Worked
that.
out great.
Hell yeah.
So what have you been doing? So since 2020, have you been a part of this team since 2020?
No, so I was a solo agent, and then in January 2021, I joined a team, and it was a bigger team within the brokerage, and that lasted until October 2023. And October 2023 is when I joined My Philly Castle.
Nice.
So yeah, so I went from like if I could equate it to music, it's like I went from like a major label to like an independent label.
Okay.
Killer.
That's what kind of music? I'm big into music too. So what kind of music are?
Yeah,
was the band that you managed? What are you into?
Yeah.
Did you
So
play?
what I'm into so much stuff. I mean, like right now, it's on my Spotify. Like if you open it up, it's probably a lot of jazz. Like jazz wasn't a genre of music that I always liked, but as I've gotten older and just kind of realized like how you could have it on in the background and it's just it's just there and you don't have to pay any attention to it, but it's like a nice background noise.
I can't
music
listen to
have.
like music with
I
lyrics
can't-
or
exactly,
music that
yeah.
I know. I
Same.
can't just totally distract because I'm into
Same.
it. and it
Exactly. Yeah,
distracts me.
exactly. But the jazz is just there and it's just like, okay, cool. Like whatever, it's
Yeah.
there.
As long
So
as it's not too crazy jazz,
Right,
like some
right.
nice mellow jazz.
Right.
Come on in.
Oh yeah. Come on in. Do your thing.
But also lately, because on Saturday I went down to Atlantic City and I saw Jane's Addiction.
Okay, cool.
And I had never seen them before, and I
Rocked,
was
so.
blown away.
Yeah.
They blew me away. So like I've been listening to Jane's like crazy over the last couple of days.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the band that I managed out of Buffalo, they were called Son of the Sun, SON of the SUN.
Okay.
And it was more like indie rock, kind of like a throwback to, the Stones and, so there was the guys in the band were friends of mine from high school. And my guy Joe, he was really big into this band called the Brian Jonestown Massacre. They were a huge influence for him. So there's a lot of Brian Jonestown Massacre in the music. And then also there was a lot of, just Beatles and Pink Floyd and, all kinds of stuff. They did a bunch of covers and they wrote a lot of really great original music. And we were rocking out for a couple years and we were doing...
Travel with them at all?
Yeah,
it's fun.
did some gigs
The
with them.
rockstar
We went
lifestyle?
to... Yeah, a little bit, got a little
Crash in
taste.
hotel rooms?
Yeah, for sure. Got a taste of that. That was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people along the way, partied, and had a blast. And we went down to South by Southwest one year.
Oh, that's awesome.
And got them
dude.
in like a bunch of different showcases down
That's
there.
killer,
It was
yeah.
fun. Yeah, it was super fun. We went.
What year was that?
That was 2009.
I
10?
can't imagine what it is now with Austin blowing up. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine like just how
Yeah, completely
it
different.
was probably like more of like a grassroots festival at that point.
Yeah, I mean
back
that's
then.
what it kind of started out as.
Yeah.
It's just like bands from all across the world, big or small, descended upon Austin, Texas, and it has the infrastructure because of 6th Street and just how many bars and, places you can play out of. It was super cool.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in a long time and I don't know what it's like now. But yeah, like Austin was not the Austin.
We
then
went like
it is
2
now.
years ago just to check it out because we've heard like, it's awesome. And we were just looking for, I don't remember why we did it. Oh, I remember why we did it because my son was turning 2. And I was like, we got to get him on another plane while we don't have to pay for him.
Yeah.
So we're like, where can we go that's like close and we can do like a long weekend? So we went to Austin, and for how fun it is from an adult perspective of, bars and restaurants and music and all that stuff. We had found a ton of stuff to do for kids too, but we did a lot of breweries and a lot of like, fun adult stuff too.
It's a great city.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
He's 3.5 now. He's like, when can we go back to Austin?
Back to Austin?
Yeah, he like loved it.
Yeah. Good restaurants too.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. Barbecue.
Good comedy.
I gotta go. Yeah, huge comedy scene, big comedy people.
Yeah, it's really blown up over the last couple of years down there. So
nice.
yeah.
Maybe start selling real estate down there.
Oh, you'd be making some money down there if you get in.
Yeah. I have friends that live there, and they bought a property during the pandemic. It was really hard for them to buy a home.
I'm sure.
Really hard. It took forever, but they got one and they love it. But it was a lot of pain along the way.
Yeah. So how was that? Actually, that's a really good segue into like one of my questions is. You started in 2020. You started like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
How the hell was that? Like growing your business and figuring out, putting in a million offers for people.
Yeah. I mean, so
You're running with weights on right now.
Yeah. It was literally like getting thrown into the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're, college 101 courses, this was like, these were like 303 classes. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But I was lucky in that the team that I joined, they assigned me a mentor, and just so happens that my mentor and I really, really got along and were super cool. Like to this day, he's somebody that I can call. So he was super helpful, during that time and, showing me the ropes and, structuring deals certain ways and language and, all of that. So I got really lucky in that regard.
That's
I
awesome.
think all came undone with the new new settlement and all the new
all this new stuff
things you got to do now. So.
Yeah, it's completely it's a different world now, and
we don't need to get into all that. But it was funny. I got a couple contracts recently, and I'm like, all right, what do I like? There's new parts of it that from a mortgage perspective, we got to be aware of too. So it's like, kind of stumbling through.
Well,
that,
I mean, the thing of it is, like, I actually ran into a deal. I don't know, this was earlier this summer, and the seller was only offering. They were only offering buyer commission of $6,000, which ended up being 1.6% of the purchase price. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't feel comfortable having my buyers pay the rest because, this stuff hadn't popped up yet and I hadn't, explained anything to them. So we were, and I was up against multiple offers. So I couldn't write in my commission, this, that, and the third, right? Yeah. So it was just one of those things. But I asked my buyers, I said, would it be okay if I reached out to your lender to see if the lender would fund the rest of the shortfall for my, to get to 2.5% for me.
Yeah.
I was told no.
Yeah.
So when is that going to change? Because that should be here, right?
I think I had this conversation with a realtor before it even all changed. I think it's going to depend on what the real estate industry does and how, if it's just going to go back to normal and everyone's, sellers are just going to pay it, or if it really is going to start coming out of buyers' pockets. Then I think Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are going to start having to figure out their end of the deal. Like, all right, because they've done so much over the past couple of years to really try and get first-time home buyers in a position to buy a house. It's kind of like undoing that if they don't step in. But I mean, the money's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
but
it's
I think
like
it's going to
legally.
be.
I mean, legally, we can't do that, right? Like, we can't give a larger lender credit to kick it back to the realtor. Like, that's not something we're allowed to do. So I wonder.
I'm just saying guidelines might have to change.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
so they're gonna for sure.
And that's something that I thought maybe they would, because we all knew that August 17th was coming, right? So Fannie and Freddie, hopefully had meetings where they sat down and thought about this and planned it out, and it would make it easier for buyers. But it just seems at this point they had nothing.
I think they're going to react when they see what the realtors do.
Yeah, like Fannie and Freddie Mac, if you're watching this for whatever reason,
Mr. Fannie and Freddie.
Yeah, Mr. Fannie and Miss Freddie. But I mean, that would make a lot of sense. But at the same time, it's the government. It's like, they take forever to make some things happen. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens here.
Not an efficient bunch over there.
No. Not at all. But yeah, no, I mean, it's sure it's definitely been like an uphill battle for you to grow in real estate. But I mean, you seem to have been doing just fine over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, the original team that I was on, part of the reason I joined is because they gave leads, and so that was really helpful in just my development as a realtor and dealing with all the buyers that I dealt with and all the, kind can I curse?
Oh yeah, get rid of
Yeah,
it.
so I've been through some crazy shit in real estate. Like I've gone through some crazy deals in a short amount of time. Even my mentor, his name's Philippe Dauphirs. Give him a shout out. He's the man. Philippe told me, he was like, dude, he's like, you've been through some shit. Yeah. Like, like it's been pretty crazy. So I've learned a lot in a short amount of time. And yeah, I mean it's good. And then joining Rich's team, and he was somebody that offered to give me leads as well, and he's been a man of his word so far. So I'm
awesome.
Happy where I'm at.
Yeah,
Killer.
fine tuning that knowledge into the further part of your career.
Yeah, it's just like you have a certain amount of tools in your belt. You know what I mean? So you got to keep getting the tools and getting them together so that one day you can just whatever you got to do, you just pull out the tool and you got it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
that's kind of what Rich has been helping me with is just like different negotiation tactics and different language to input in the agreement of sale, and just kind of seeing it from a different angle.
Collaboration is so key. Like real estate can be a silo. Same thing with being a mortgage broker, can be a silo a lot of times. And one of the things that our office is good at, sounds like your guys' team is good at, is just collaboration, working together. Even if it's not Rich's deal, he's gonna sit in and be like, "Hey, this is how I would do it." Or
Yeah.
especially with some of the newer agents, it's like you just don't have the experience.
Yeah.
Not you, but people just.
Francini's a newer agent, so but she's super smart and gets it really quick. So she's gonna be a rock star. And like Rich helped me structure a deal earlier this year it ended up being a crazy deal, but up front he sat with me and we went through it and added like very specific language to protect the buyer at all costs. Really, because it was a long story short, it was a deal that was developers bought it, they were rehabbing it during COVID, stuff happened, they didn't finish the rehab, they said they would, they didn't. It was one of those things, and like we had to write the language to have them complete the work, which ultimately didn't even end up happening. So it's like it's crazy, but whatever.
Yeah.
Deal's done.
Got
it's
it.
all
Yeah,
good.
you at least did your due diligence in protecting the buyer, which is ultimately
That's
your goal.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the fiduciary responsibility to them, and you got to make sure that they're taken care of.
Yeah. I guess one other question, maybe two. So first one is, you said you and your wife took the test at the same time.
Yep.
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Your wife do real estate?
She doesn't. My
Okay.
wife is she works a corporate gig. She does super well with it. She's sharp as a tack and just like she's a worker. Like my wife's.
And she got a Mexico vacation out of it. She
Yeah,
passed her
yeah,
test.
yeah.
She got her Mex
Yeah.
vacation. And
Well, she works for a hotel chain.
Oh, okay.
And so we, it's nice because we get some nice stays,
perks, yeah. That's
little
awesome.
perks, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So she, her license is hung with a property management company, and all she can do with the license is just refer out business. So
That's not
that's it.
bad.
Yeah. So it's
little
like
side hustle.
yeah, it's something. You know what I mean? She refers. When she does refer something, I hope I get the
Hopefully
first
it
call.
comes your way.
I hope I get the tap on the shoulder.
It just,
You know what I
it just
mean?
goes right into your joint account.
Exactly.
The referral.
That's
100%.
perfect.
Yeah.
Killer. And I don't even remember what my second question was, so that works out.
Must have been important.
Yeah, very important. But other than that, I mean, do you have any wins? Is there anything you wanted to ask first? Or
It was the wife question. I was wondering.
yeah, I was curious about
Because
that.
we
but-
just had someone come on. It was actually a Zoom one. It was my buddy who out in San Diego lived there, and he's a realtor. Him and his wife are realtors, and they work together, live
nice.
together, kids
Yeah.
together. Like, I was like, ooh, that's a lot. How does
Yeah.
that work out? How do you separate? But it sounds
Right
like
on.
she's got her own little work life too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, you got to win.
Yeah. So right now I'm working on a deal. It's probably going to happen today, where I am a dual agent for the first time.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So I have the listing, and then I found the buyer as well.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
man.
Thanks,
That's
man.
huge.
So yeah. So we'll have that wrapped up in 30 days.
Nice. Well, if
Yeah.
they want to shop raid, let us know.
Slipped it right in there.
I scooped it in the past two podcasts. This is like
Keep
a
it-
first.
keep it
I'm gonna
going.
keep it going. No, but that's great, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We
Yeah.
really
Thanks for
appreciate
having me, guys. This was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I love the beers, and it's a good chat.
it.
Nice. Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
hopefully it was nice and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Hell
guys.
yeah.
All right.
Appreciate
Happy
it.
Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday,
Cheers.
guys. Cheers.
Cheers.